On this week's episode, we talk about dumb money.
And other pop culture news from the week.
So we just saw the new movie. What do you call those movie? Not a biopic, but it's heavily based on real events and true story. This movie called Dumb Money, about the GameStop phenomenon, the GameStop market craze generated by social media. So we get to know the man behind, who he affected, some of the people he affected, and some of the big names on Wall Street. They got messed by him and responded heavily through politicians, to Congress, to laws, to they defend themselves, as you know, the whole Robin Hood shutting it down, the whole Reddit shutting it down to protect the big hedge funds, etc., etc. So the movie, all about it. We're not gonna dive a lot into it because it's a known story, and again, no spoilers because you should go see the movie.
You should. But also, this all happened like 2 years ago. Maybe closer to 3. But anyway, if you've been a long time watcher / listener of our podcast, you might remember back when all this originally went down, like around 2021, beginning of 2021, almost right away, people were writing books and Hollywood was getting rights to make movies. Is there already the HBO series?
Yes, there's an HBO documentary series. There's another documentary out there. Everybody wanted to tell the story, to make some money out of it, and also to tell the story that changed, if anything, a little bit on how the market deal with retail traders.
Yeah. So that's where the title of the movie comes from. Apparently, dumb money is the nickname, I guess. It's kind of a pejorative term that like the big guys, the big hedge fund day traders use to talk about retail traders, like the little guys who aren't working for like the big hedge funds, who aren't moving millions of dollars, the people like us. And so this whole story, like, it did change things. It may have changed things a little bit, but it definitely exposed a lot of the shenanigans and the malarkey that's really going on behind Wall Street. So it really is, it's an interesting story all on its own, but it's one that's important to tell and important to pay attention to, because this is the kind of thing that affects all of us all the time. So you may remember back in 2021 when all this went down, it was one of the many, many crazy things that shaped that part of the pandemic, that on top of everything else going on in the world, all of a sudden, this stock that had been shorted, GameStop, a bunch of people were following a particular Redditor / YouTuber and buying a bunch of this stock, and it totally flipped things on end. A bunch of like average Joes made a ton of money, and a bunch of hedge fund managers lost even more money, and it was just madness.
And it was not just this group of people that had a lot of nicknames. They were called the retards. They're called that, right? I'm not making that up.
They did use that term.
What else? Apes. And anyways, they had a lot of nicknames. This is an internet thing, so they had nicknames.
Yeah, and they really leaned into the whole like dumb money perception. Like, yep, we're the morons.
Look who's dumb now. Yeah. Anyways, this whole thing was not just a big group of people inflating over increasing the value of a company. The guy behind all that, he realized that Wall Street does that all the time. They short stocks on many companies and make money out of that, taking money away from the people that just buy the stock and wait for the going up and down. So they cheat people on their money.
And also taking money from those companies, because then they're incentivized for those companies to fail.
Yeah.
Which hurts a lot of people.
So this guy realized by his studies, by his skills on observing the market, that they realized that GameStop was one of the companies that they were shorting. They were trying to make money out of GameStop and their stockholders, and I was like, it's payback time. Let's use that against them, and he did. He invested a lot, and he showed his portfolio online for everybody to see. Everybody was in the open, and then he and people followed him, and people started making money, and more people start following him, and more people start making money, and the amount of the stock start increasing and increasing, and then Wall Street start losing money, and then to the point that the Congress decided to get this guy that his only fault was being smart and creative, and the story is on the news, is on the documentary, but the way they did in the movie was really good. The casting was impressive. They had big names, big stars. Paul Dano as Rotten Kitty, is that his name?
Roaring Kitty.
Kitty. The guy behind this wave, this French Revolution on social media and markets. His wife was Shailene Woodley. Another big name who's kind of disappeared. She's more like out there protesting things and getting arrested. But Seth Rogen, Vincent D'Onofrio, Ron Swanson, what's his name? Ron Swanson.
It's Ron Swanson.
What's his name?
I know, it's coming.
Nick Offerman.
There we
go. Sebastian Stan. Pete Davidson, America. That's America, right?
Yeah, America Ferrera. Yeah, and there are a couple other
Anthony Ramos, Clancy Brown, Kate Burton. There was a big cast. And,
lots of familiar faces.
And it was very well done. Impressive, I would say. The director is prolific. He directed many other things. The writers,
including I, Tonya, right?
I, Tonya.
Yeah.
The writers, not so much. They wrote a couple episodes of Orange is the New Black for Netflix, but everything together, it works really well to show a piece of our days on Earth for posterity, and a piece of our days that caused a lot of commotion in people. A lot of people made a lot of money. A lot of people lost a lot of money. Not only the hedge funds, because what's losing $1 billion for someone who has 18, 19, you know? But some people try to make some buck there and got out in the wrong moment and lost money as well. But very interesting cut of reality, and shows everything that happens. They don't stay on that only. They show some other aspects of life. They show COVID and how COVID changed people's lives. You see masks everywhere, and how companies had to shut down. People work from home, and again how the millionaires isolate themselves in their ivory castles. And, but I really liked it. I by the trailer, I thought it would be good, and it was.
It delivered, even knowing what was happening. So a few things that point to like the success of the writing and the quality of it. Even knowing the story beforehand, it was still compelling to watch. So that's a huge gold star for them. But then second, this whole story revolves around like this convoluted intricacies of the whole made up baloney financial system and everything that goes down on Wall Street. And they managed to make a story that's based on, financial jargon to help us understand that, and again to make it interesting and compelling. So that's another like giant gold star. The villains of the story, and like there are good guys and bad guys, but they didn't really, I don't feel like they ever did anything over the top. They just kind of laid out the facts, laid out some nice realities, and used, you know, background things to just show us like who's sympathetic, who's not. They didn't over vilify our super rich guys. They just showed, you know, Seth Rogen having a conversation about how rough it is to not have a private tennis court.
Yeah.
Like it all felt like very believable.
True, but
there was no like mustache twirling, and none of the people on the bottom, you know, the average Joes, none of them were like, oh, I'm so poor. My life is so hard. I'm such a victim. They were just like, yep, it's normal life. Here we go.
But yeah, but you know, like Sebastian Stan, he's like typecast as a D-bag, you know, even as Bucky, even as a Winter Soldier, you know, Team Iron Man, Team Tony, you know, even after his redemption, he caused the whole mess in between the Avengers. He split. He caused a civil war.
That's fair. That's fair.
You know, so he is cast as and again on Pam and Tommy. He's that kind of guy that is like, yeah. Anyways,
I don't know. I just feel like
Tonya. He was on Tonya too, right?
Tonya.
Yeah, he was a boyfriend.
Yeah, he was.
Or boyfriend, husband, or something like that.
I think so.
Yeah.
Either way, I feel like they could have gone a lot farther. They could have been tempted to kind of caricaturize, and they didn't. And I really appreciate that, especially since this is based on a real story, and they just like I feel like they let the real story just kind of tell itself and lead where it went. A great cross section of characters that showed us different aspects of who was doing what. Just really well done. Important to watch, worth watching.
Yeah. And they don't try to hide from the truth. They use real names, real characters. You know, they could let's not talk about this big hedge fund manager. No. They put him by name. They make fun of him. They don't make fun of them. They show things about them that expose how funny and stupid they are.
Oh, they used the actual congressional, the congressional hearing, because it's all done over Zoom. Like it worked really well to just have like the actual footage of the congressman from the actual hearing, including like that great line, that great phrase of the pandemic. I think you're on mute. I can't hear a thing you're saying.
Yeah, because one of the hedge funds, played by Seth Rogen, he starts speaking his speech that he prepared with a media training people. Yeah, and he still screwed up. He did. But anyways.
Yeah. So anyway, really well done. I feel like it was a big task, a lot of challenges that they managed to overcome or avoid, and made a successful film that I think everybody should watch, because it's an important story.
Yeah, just one more thing about big names that you in among the rich, but you also might see on movies. The Winklevoss brothers produced this movie. The Winklevoss brothers, the ones that basically funded the foundation of Facebook. And got screwed by Mark Zuckerberg because he screwed everybody. He's, don't trust the guy.
So there's kind of a theme here of like billionaires screwing over everybody else.
Yeah.
Anyway, I wonder if that's why they got involved.
If anything, the whole thing changed the market because Wall Street thinks twice before shorting company because, the masses, the digital masses might target them, and that happened after other situations, and it's still happening in smaller scales.
Yeah, I don't know that it could happen on that large scale again. Like hopefully Wall Street learned their lesson, maybe.
Nah, but they learn how to protect themselves.
Yeah, they didn't learn like the ethical, moral lesson.
The whole thing about protecting themselves is like, Reddit shut it down the page. Reddit was helping them.
Crazy.
Robinhood shut down, protecting them, and then comes Congress. It's like they have people in the government. Well, some of those hedge fund managers and owners, they fund both parties. Yeah, and they pick who's going to be the next president.
Oh my gosh!
Because money runs and rules, power and
That's just an insane amount.
Dumb Money. Not Dumb Movie is actually really good.
Great
You
movie.
should go check it. It's available in theaters everywhere. If you wanna this piece of history. Oh, not very well done movie.
Yeah.
There's some jokes. Pete Davidson is there for, I guess, funny reasons, and
Yeah.
it has some funny moments.
He does.
Because he had some decent writers.
Yeah, they did, and it was nice. It kept things moving along. Kept things. I don't know. It was nice to have a little bit of comic relief that had some substance. Anyway, great movie. Obviously, we have a lot of good things to say about it.
Yes, Dumb Money. Go check it. Theaters everywhere.
Not the only thing we saw in theaters this week.
Yeah. Megaplex. What's it called? Larry Miller.
Megaplex, yeah.
Larry Miller?
Yeah,
Larry Miller. Larry Miller. Megaplex theaters here in Utah. I think there's some in Nevada, maybe in Arizona. Who knows? They're doing this classic series where they they screen select classic movies once a week. It's actually a very good deal. We pay $10 and you can watch 10 movies. You pay a little more if you pick them individually. But anyways, so they're showing classics. They're showing South by Southwest.
North by Northwest.
Because South by Southwest is not a classic.
Totally different.
They showing Martha Washington. No, Jimmy
Mr.
Stewart
Smith goes to Washington.
Yeah, Mrs. Smith goes to Washington.
There you go.
Mr. Smith.
Yeah.
Goes to Washington. And what else they showing besides the one we saw?
I don't remember because honestly, in the trailer, those were the ones that I was excited about. But when I
It's
say
10
classics,
movies.
yeah.
Yeah, and of course, they showing the one we saw this past week, Godfather Part 2. And I seen it before, and I liked it. And every time I see it again, I like it more. In this time, to see, I don't think I've seen it in the theater. So I never seen it in the theater. I saw several times before on the small screen or the biggest screen I could find. But it's such a masterpiece.
It's a good movie.
You know, the bad guys are bad.
Yeah.
And there's this very redeeming quality about them. There's no silly jokes, and they are bad because they are bad. There's no, but he was bad because of this tragedy that happened to him. If it was happened to no, he's bad because we need bad guys in fiction, because we have bad guys in reality.
Yeah.
So we need the role models. We need to learn that there's bad guys. So we avoid them. So we be ready. We prepare. We fight them.
Yeah.
Media,
I would say too, like it
media
shows
and fiction
us,
these days. It's like, there's no bad guys. There's no villains.
I feel like they take the agency. They take the agency out of the villain. Where in this one, like we see clearly, like both Vito and Michael, like are repeatedly given choices where they could go one way or the other, and they choose the darkness every time. It just leads them further into darkness. Like we see them use their agency, like their accountability, all that stuff to choose. Whereas like modern villains, like Thanos, for example, is like it's like he didn't really have a choice. Like this was the only conclusion that could have come to. There's no agency. There's no. I don't know if that makes sense at all.
No, but
okay.
But but like Buck, you mentioned Winter Soldier. He's my friend.
Exactly. And that's not his fault.
And every other Disney movie is like there's not a concrete bad guy. They relying on. Oh, it was the mother. Oh, it was circumstantial. It was, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they didn't have a choice. It's not their fault. There's a villain. It was fate. It was doomed. They're just like pawns. There's no free will. Involved. Like they're bad guys because life was bad to them, and the good guys are good because life was good to them, and they're privileged, and that's.
Yeah.
Whereas a movie like Godfather 2, like
not only that, but the consequences for the pseudo villains in fiction these days, so stupid, so ridiculous that they turn and become good guys. But no, Godfather 1 is the journey of Michael Corleone from being a decent person, from trying to be good.
Yeah.
He goes fight the war, serve his country and protect the freedom of all. And he comes back and things push him to the dark and more and more and more. And in the second one, it's no return.
His descent continues. Yeah, it's sad. It's like the perfect. It's like a negative of the hero's journey, where everything is like the perfect opposite, where our hero is like called from obscurity and comes into the light and like grows and everything and becomes, you know, this mythic legendary hero. Whereas Michael, like, I mean, he was like the younger son. Everything was supposed to be like, he's the one who's supposed to be like legit and clean and everything.
And that's very interesting about being legit, being the good son, because his name is Michael, right? In the Christian mythology, is the
like
angel,
archangel,
the favorite angel
the one who didn't fall.
Yes, the one that didn't fall.
Yeah, and we see him at every turn just go darker and darker and darker, and just like reject everything. I feel like in Godfather, there's still kind of like good things motivating him. Like he wants to protect his family, he wants to help his father and all that stuff. But in this one, it's like by the end, all that's gone.
Yeah,
he's just in it for himself and his power and his money.
Yeah, if the first one it was about the family, right? So never go against the family.
Yeah.
In the second one is about him, his ego. It's his journey alone, as he goes deep and dark, and then he loses everything and everybody.
Yeah. So fantastic, really well made. A lot of theaters will do things like this, like runs of classic movies. I highly recommend going to one if you get the chance, because at home, we were talking about this after, like, especially for a long movie like this, it's really hard, at least for me, to sit at home and watch a movie because I either fall asleep or I'm distracted by like other chores, or our kids like wake up and come need something. Or your phone's there, my phone's there. At the theater, you just get to be in like a big dark room, huge screens. You get to see these films as they were intended to be seen, like sound, no distractions. It was really fantastic. And for a movie as beautifully photographed as the Godfather films are, like, it was a good thing. Yeah. It's really worth it if you get the chance.
Yes, if you have the chance, go check, especially if you can find in 35. I mean, it's tough these days. But digital is not
what you can get.
Bad, too.
It's not bad, yeah.
So Godfather, I'm not going to say it's everywhere because, well, it's not.
It's not.
It's once and done. I think it's Mondays and Wednesdays. I don't know if this week's is the new one, or last Wednesday was. Anyways,
I don't know.
Check on Larry Maurer, Megaplex.
And if you don't have access to a Megaplex, just keep an eye on your local theaters.
Yeah.
They're also frequently, almost every year, I think.
Anniversaries of the movies.
Anniversaries.
Fathom Events does
Studio
that too.
Ghibli does. They release their films almost every year.
Fathom Events does Ghibli.
Oh yeah, Fathom Events, yeah. Like, watch for that, because it's really fun to get to go see, and quite often they are cheaper than going to see blockbusters.
As a matter of fact, there's one coming. I'm not really keeping track. I'm going to be out of town. And also we did it on the day. There's a Back to the Future.
That's right.
Marathon special for the Back to the Future day. I think it's October 22nd, 1985. And then he goes to the future October 22nd, 1920. What was that year? 2018, 2015. 2015, yeah.
Yeah. That's right. We were still newlyweds.
and
we went and watched.
He went to see. So as a matter of fact, there's that one coming for sure. So if you want to check, and there's many more, check. Always there's a chance to watch again, or if you've never seen a big screen, to experience. You know,
it's a fun way to introduce your kids to these movies too.
As it was intended to be watched.
All right, that's enough of the big screen. Let's go to the small screen. Some beginnings and endings this week.
So this week we saw the endings of a couple shows on streaming. We saw the endings of Only Murders in the Building on Hulu, and it was good. This show is still fresh. It's still good. It was announced. It was renewed for 4th season. and things gonna get complicated. I'm not gonna spoil,
Yeah.
but that ending was like, yeah. But this one, that was some stuff in the like right in the second episode that we saw. I was like, oh, he's talking to yeah, it's kind of obvious. But again, it's kind of a learning process after you watch the first season.
Sure.
You're gonna learn some of how if you're paying attention, you're gonna learn how some of the ways. And of course, in writing in fiction, there's so much you can do to even try to surprise the audiences. There's some of the stuff I was like, I think, yeah. But overall, it was fun. It was good.
It was, and even honestly, I wasn't really sure who the murderer was until the last episode. They did a pretty good job of like giving everybody had a good motive, everybody had good opportunity, so they kind of kept us on our toes. But also just the cast of characters and their whole process is so entertaining to watch.
They did play like 3 different murders. First was one,
Uh-huh.
I did it, and then I was like, I did it, and then we finally
they did. They pushed that. But like I was saying, like the cast of characters is so entertaining to watch that like even though we did predict a couple of aspects of it, it was still a blast the whole season.
Oh yeah,
and
see
that trio. I mean, who would have thought that Selena Gomez would fit so well in with Martin Short and Steve Martin? But it's great.
Yeah,
they're delightful.
And to see Martin Short, Steve Martin, and Meryl Streep.
Yeah.
Streep singing. It was really good. Her song is so beautiful.
It really is.
I can do it.
Yeah,
that's why I did Steve Martin. Yeah. But which of the triplets? I can do it.
I don't remember the words.
That was funny. And that's what he always did. If you go like back in the 70s, his routines was singing. He does
That's
King
true. He is a musician.
Tut on SNL. King Tut. So it was really good. Yeah. And Martin Short is funny, contrary to some morons. Morons, no, one moron.
Yeah.
Everybody's supporting
Everybody else
him.
is like, that's hilarious. So, did get renewed for a 4th season. They set it up in the finale.
There's already a murder.
Oh, yeah.
In the building.
Oh,
is it?
So, who even cares? It's been a lot of fun. So, 3rd season holds up. It's worth a watch. And the 4th season is coming, and we're happy about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other show we saw, the finale, was Ahsoka, a short show, 6 episodes, 8 episodes.
I think it was 8.
On Disney Plus, the story of Ahsoka, the renegade, the Ronin, rogue Jedi, survivor of the Order 66, apprentice of Anakin Skywalker, a character that we learn to hate, but then we learn how to love. A character that definitely had a chance to grow and develop. Got her debut on live action. I mean, she's been on another show before, but this time she was the protagonist. She had her own show, and all things considered, some very considerable size problems, but all that together, it was good. It was fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. For me, it's a little bit like Obi-Wan in that there were moments that were like I wouldn't trade for anything. It was so great to see live action, but then there were just some like major pitfalls in the writing, and one episode in particular, like I don't know what was going on with the director. She made some very different choices than I would have made, but they're professionals and I'm not. But overall,
so,
the
system is. Some directors don't really direct. They sit there to get a credit because the producer wanted to give the credit. So
either way, Rosario Dawson, fantastic. No notes. No complaints. Just she nailed it. She was fantastic. And
I mean, I don't hate her, but I think it's a different Ahsoka. I'm not talking about only the voice. I think she's. I guess it's natural. She's older. She's much
this is a different time period we've seen for her.
But I guess that might be it because, that might. But yeah. But
Balin was so cool. I feel like he was very underutilized, which is tragic because it was that actor's last role. So I don't know what he passed away.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's gonna happen there.
But he was so good. There's some idiots, and I mean, with love and understanding, and also because I think they're idiots. There's some idiots out there creating theories that he's actually Luke Skywalker's father.
To which I say, no, you're wrong.
Yeah.
And that completely guts like the core of that original trilogy.
Yeah.
Ah, that's terrible.
But anyways, it was a great character.
Yeah.
And overall, I would say that I don't know. I might assume that Filoni doesn't have the same liberties that he had on the animations, because animations, he was the boss. He did whatever he wanted, and he did a lot of cool stuff. On this show, you can tell that someone was holding him back, and there's some stuff there that, you know, from right from the beginning, they made Sabine a Jedi, which was like, there was not really never an evidence that would happen. And I think they pushed that because they want to not only a female protagonist, but also a female supporting role character, which was a really close.
They could have had that. Like, they had that anyway.
What?
I mean, we already have a female protagonist.
Yeah.
It's Ahsoka's show.
Yeah.
And Sabine was already a supporting character.
Sure, but to make her a Jedi, it was like...
I think they were trying to do like the whole parallel, like master apprentice things, as Ahsoka's dealing with her own master apprentice relationship with Anakin / Darth Vader. Maybe I don't know.
I mean, and there's other problems too. But overall, it was good. Besides the abysmal ratings, the show is getting like super low numbers, losing money for Disney. But all that, they still promise, not promise, but they still. There's rumors that they're gonna make more, and yeah, let's see. Oh, and Filoni, I just saw that, and Filoni said that they're gonna do at least one season before the eventual movie he's gonna do, which I since he was announced, I had in my head that if he's gonna do Heir of the Empire, and that's the movie was gonna be called. It's not gonna be Luke, Leia, and Han. It's gonna be Ahsoka, now Sabine, Ezra, and Hera, and Mandalorian, and Bo-Katan, and it's gonna be this set of characters because, I guess they might bring Luke for some, special scene, but I don't think it's gonna be about Luke fighting Thrawn, and Thrawn with the Shlamari and the clone made by the hand. I think the story is great, but they're not gonna. Disney threw that in the trash.
I think Disney killed that.
Threw that in the
pretty
trash
effectively.
And but Filoni is being able to dig the trash and bring, to keep Ahsoka alive after it was decanonized, and bring Thrawn back, and bring aspects from the Thrawn universe, and he's going to be anyways.
Yeah, that's true.
But we'll see. Ahsoka, the full series, full season, is available at Disney Plus. And if you were waiting to the show to end to subscribe, I know people are doing that, and binge the whole thing. Yeah, now I can.
Now's the time. Yeah. Okay, a new show began. This is a spin-off of The Boys on Amazon Prime. It's called GenV, and it's pretty much exactly what you would expect from The Boys show set in college.
Yeah.
It's all the blood and gore plus like sexual exploration and drugs and young people finding their place in the world plus horrific violence and gore.
Yeah. If the heroes are disturbed and dark, this is where they go learn that sort of. And yeah, it was fun. It's good.
It's interesting.
It's definitely a different take on it because on the boys they have the good guys, even if their morals and their methods are questionable, they are fighting for what they believe is right, for what they believe is good, because the soups are doing what they believe is wrong and is bad. In this one, there's the question of morality in good or bad is not really there. Because there was a character that started, she came, I want to be a superhero. And right away she got sucked into the bad side. So there's no good guys. There's people suffering consequences because of the choice of others. But they didn't step up to be good guys, at least yet.
Yeah.
So,
there's time for that. So we've set up, our villain is still Vought Industries. Very much so, and like they're kind of behind the scenes everywhere.
They kind of threw people on the bus, and it's like, no, your parents choose to give you powers, nobody forced them. So it's kind of they question that.
But that's like the villains in the past, like the people driving like the very specific plot of this show. It's still like Vought Industries who's like behind all the horrible stuff that's going down, and like twisting everything and manipulating these kids with their powers and putting them in these horrible situations. And like they're still a very bad guy, but you could almost describe the morality of this show as like 50 Shades of Grey, where we have Vought Industries that's basically like the darkest black, and then our other heroes are in like different places on that spectrum, and maybe moving around and like trying to find their place. So.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Just an interesting, like the guy that was close to be a good guy. I'm not gonna tell. Something happens to him, like almost right away. Anyways, GenV, Generation V, GenV. It's available on Amazon Prime Video. A new episode every Friday. There's 3 available for the premiere, special premiere last week, so the 4th one coming this week.
Yep.
And it's if you like The Boys, you're gonna like this one.
Cannot possibly like overemphasize or stress enough how horrifically graphic and violent this is.
Yeah.
If you don't know yet,
yeah,
just you've been warned.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, SAG-AFTRA, what's going on?
So they, with the WGA end of strike, SAG-AFTRA is working diligently with the studios, with the production companies, to put an end to their strike. But nothing yet.
Yeah.
But you know how the industry is like. Nepotism is not the word, but they kind of manage things on a way to survive for good or for bad. It's interesting how the strike ended and how all the new seasons are coming. It's almost like it was like scheduled. It was like Dancing with the Stars was like at risk. People were picketing at the Dancing with the Stars. Now it came and it made a lot of numbers in audience, and then the seasons of the new shows, the new seasons of the old shows and the new shows, everything coming back together.
Yeah.
The talk shows, if you, I don't know, 85 and watch that.
Don't know anybody who watches.
Yeah, but
the talk shows or the late nights.
Yeah, but the talk shows, the late night ones. The SAG made a concession. No, that's okay for them to go there and talk about whatever they want. It's like when they go out there to cons like we experienced here, they cannot talk. But like for Jimmy Fallon, they can.
Yeah.
Or for Jimmy Kimmel, or for Jimmy Buffett, whatever Jimmys they have out there. Anyways, so they make concessions for that. But fun thing about that is. The talk shows, including Drew Barrymore, sweet Drew that now is spoiled.
Poor Drew. And I really do mean that. Like, she had a good thing going.
The whole thing, we talked about it. Anyway, so she finally decided to come back like every other show. But the writer said, nah,
Yeah. Now, I imagine she'll be able to find other writers, because I don't think there's like a dearth of writers looking for work.
Yeah,
Hollywood,
but the problem
but
is
still.
because they unionize. You know, you can fire them. You cannot hire anyone to do their job.
But she didn't fire them. They didn't
Yeah.
want to go back.
Yes, but that's what I'm saying. She cannot hire someone to replace them. It has to be union, and the union will not allow because she already has writers. It's this whole
But she
bureaucratic.
doesn't have writers. They left.
No, they don't want to come back.
Doesn't that?
I mean, they didn't quit.
Isn't that the same thing? Okay, what's the difference?
They said we're not coming back to write now.
But the strike is over.
Yeah, but they
That feels like quitting.
it's more like a tantrum, whatever.
Oh my word. Okay, well, so that's going on.
Yeah, no. If they quit, it's basically not news. If they quit, then she hires other ones.
Yeah.
So they lose. No, it's more like a less push of we want
Their own smaller strike.
Yeah. Anyways,
I give up.
but there's that.
Yeah.
What else about the strike? I guess that's it. The show's good or bad. We saw Survivor is back. We saw the new Dan Harmon show, Crackpopolis.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's not great. It took him like 17 years to make that. It was finally out.
Yeah.
It's some good cast. It's funny. It's what else? Amazing Race is back. We didn't see that yet. There's a new show with David Spade we want to check about inventions. Is this true? Is this not true?
Oh yeah.
That looks interesting.
It's a game show.
Yeah.
Type thing.
And more to come. I think the gay pirate comes back tonight. What's it called?
Our flag means death.
Yes. I'm also gonna check that. But anyways,
Okay.
I think that's it for strike.
Well, for now, Disney VFX workers have voted to unionize. So with more people in the industry unionizing, like strikes, there might be more strikes. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. But well, yeah. Okay. We saw an interesting trailer for a new Netflix film called Leave the World Behind. This is coming to Netflix in December. Stars Julia Roberts, Mahershala Ali, Kevin Bacon, Ethan Hawke, and I've already forgotten the other girl's name again.
Anyways, there's already enough names.
Mayaha. Anyway, it's an interesting cast. This is an apocalypse, end of the world type movie. It looks interesting if you're into that sort of thing. So just keep an eye out.
Yes, a
that.
Netflix movie. So
About the end of the world.
if you watch Netflix, if you have Netflix,
Mm-hmm.
you should check that one. About streaming service, Disney said they're gonna start cracking down on sharing passwords.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And because they can, because
Mm-hmm.
I feel like some of that it's empty threats, because the technology, they have to stop that people have technology to, break that too.
VPN.
Yeah,
me.
another. So we'll see. I don't know. It's a conflict. They want more money, and people wants to pay less. So, but
Yep.
what they do is keep charging more and stopping people from sharing. Anyways,
It's true. When you hike up the rates, you're gonna have more people sharing passwords.
Yeah.
Because as much, it doesn't matter how much you want the content if you can't afford it.
Because technology is unless they limit it to devices, I can travel, and at the hotel I put in the hotel TV.
Yeah.
And if they make it harder, if they make it, people will leave.
Yeah.
Because the facilities, the commodity, the comfortability, like that word.
Convenience?
Convenience. Yeah, comfortably is a synonym for
Yes,
convenience.
it is now.
That streaming gave us against cable. We're losing it, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true. Okay, we saw a fun clip from an interview this week with Katie Sackhoff and Dave Filoni. Katie Sackhoff is, of course, Bo-Katan Kryze. She talked about how she grew up as a Star Wars fan. Her father's a huge Star Wars fan. And she really, really, really wanted to do a scene with Mark Hamill.
I think her father was on set that day.
Yes. Yeah, she shared a picture of that, which was just like, oh, it was so heartwarming. Anyway, so of course this is like the great day, the day that they filmed the scene with Luke Skywalker coming onto the ship. But of course it wasn't Mark Hamill there. It was a body double with like the dots on his face.
Suit and dots, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And in great Star Wars tradition, they told everybody on set that it was Plo Koon coming to rescue little baby Grogu.
Plo Koon, Master of the Jedi Council.
Yeah.
On the original, the sequel trilogy.
Which also would have been very cool and exciting.
Trilogy.
Yes, the prequel trilogy. Yeah. Which also would have been very exciting. This is also the Jedi Master who found Ahsoka and brought her to the Jedi Temple. Like, it would have been very cool. So she thought it was Plo Koon, and that's what Dave Filoni told her. That's what she was working with that day. And then she watches the episode.
But the clothes, didn't the clothes give it away?
Well, no, because he wasn't really clothes. They didn't see like the color of the lightsaber. She didn't see like the whole march through the ship as he like destroys the Death Troopers.
Okay, she didn't see that, but they had someone dressed as, I don't know how much you saw, but they had someone dressed as a Luke Skywalker, and then they just put the face.
I guess, but like if your director says this is Plo Koon, like, all right, it's Plo Koon.
Okay. I would say
because it could have been anybody's face that they stuck.
True,
you know.
but it's like this Plo Koon weirdly dresses up like Luke Skywalker in Return of the Jedi, huh?
Fair enough. Either way,
but
she trusted her director, and then watched the show and was like, "Excuse me." And she said, like, her freak out, like for the rest of us, I guess it was a very similar experience to the rest of us. See the green, or the X-wing pull up.
Oh, there we go.
The green lightsaber.
Oh,
yeah, but like again, that wasn't.
You
don't get to see that on set, right? So she like none of the obvious clues that had us all like, oh my gosh. She didn't get to see all that until she watched the actual episode. Anyway, we should put the clip on the Retina pages because it's fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically, even though she was in the scene, she got to have the same reaction that we did. You know, you see the X-wing and then the green lightsaber and the Jedi movement. It's such a good scene. But hers was added with a little bit of anger at Dave Filoni. You said Plo Koon. Anyway.
Okay.
So there's that. And last but not least, Ukrainian soldier captures a Russian tank, can't get it started, so he calls tech support. And they helped him.
And they had tech support?
Yeah.
For tanks?
I guess so. It was a very nice Russian lady who apparently didn't realize that this guy was Ukrainian. And just like, all right, duly noted. I've got she said that she would bring the problem to the attention of her higher ups and all that.
And they fixed the problem.
I don't know if they fixed the problem. The article didn't say, and frankly, based on stereotypes, I don't think the problem got fixed.
That's funny.
But the audacity is fantastic.
Well, I guess that's it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I guess that's it for this week.
Yep.
We come back next week with more pop culture news. And I don't know what you're going to see next week. But we might see something.
And we'll talk about it.
Yeah. And so may the force be with you.
Live long and prosper.
Bye.
Bye.